Hey, good afternoon to you, everybody. Mark Stout of HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Outlook and discussion. It is Thursday, July 18th, 2019, and I am back, from the Gulf Coast where we tackled Hurricane Barry. Wasn't very difficult, a lot of traveling, but a lot of equipment set up, and we put 2 weather stations, 6 live cameras. One of them we pulled up just a few hours after we put it out, because what we were going to try to capture wasn't going to happen. It was on the Comeet River, I think that's how you say it, and it didn't go into flood stage like we were thinking, but and 2 GoPros we set out. The most equipment we've ever put out. It was a great test, great teamwork from everybody involved, Derek and Carrie, really appreciate it. Ian, Aaron's son from Mississippi, so thanks for coming out too, Ian. He helped in Waveland. So it was great. We did a lot of good work, and we're now ready for the peak of the season. So let's get rid of me and get right into it. Nothing happening in the Atlantic Basin right now. Maybe some development in the Eastern Pacific. I will talk about why in just a moment. First, look at the anomalies here. This just updated today. Still cooling in the tropical Pacific. Warming a little bit. The main thing is the status quo of the overall slightly warmer than average profile that we already have all through here. It's not cooling. It did cool down up here, though, along the northern Gulf Coast because of Barry coming along and agitating that water just a little bit. But let's broaden this out and look at the bigger picture here on this Mercator map, the anomaly map here now for the whole globe. And you notice, again, the tropical Pacific here cooling. Then you add the North Atlantic to this mix, and you go, especially those of you that know how to look at this and what you're looking at. That is a signal of the warm AMO. It's not the best, certainly. It's not your classic signature of the Atlantic multi-decadal oscillation. It's where this warm horseshoe-shaped overall against the averages, a horseshoe-shaped anomaly in the North Atlantic with cold in the subtropics, generally speaking. Now, if we had Dr. Klotzbach here sitting with me, he would expand upon that even more and offer his thoughts and opinions on it. And he would probably agree this is not your classic look, but it is certainly more so than we have seen, especially in the North Atlantic, that warm anomaly, kind of cold in the middle, in the the subtropics, and then warm in the tropics. A little bit displaced, a little bit more north up here, but it's not like it's all cold in the main development region, and so forth and so on. Bottom line, folks, this is going to be a big deal because we are about a month away. Now the countdown's getting on. We're getting there, and we got to be ready because I think there's some signs we need to start really looking at. Real quick, let me zoom back in. Look at the Gulf. A little bit of, these are actual temperatures, a little bit of leftover churned upness from Barry. A couple things real quick, though, about what I learned. Again, we set up a lot of equipment from Waveland, Mississippi, a couple of systems in New Orleans, Morgan City area, somewhere down there, New Iberia, and then again up near Baton Rouge, wherever that is, on the Comeet River, weather stations, cameras, all that. Great rehearsal. However, I learned a big lesson, and that I will put that and apply that lesson in the future, and that is put a camera in Mandeville. And when you have a hurricane that's going to come up this way, or this way, or that way, or whatever, if it's east of there, not so much. But anything New Orleans, lat long 30-90, and west, you got to put a camera in Mandeville along the lakefront. We had one on the southern part of Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans north, or whatever you call it, at the lakefront, but not in Mandeville, and we should have. I went down there in person and shot a video of it and so forth, but that's what we do. We learn these things, and I have made a note of that, and believe me, it'll be covered next time. Look at this along the Mid-Atlantic and East Coast region, the 80-degree line Fahrenheit, all the way up here, just about 100 miles south of Long Island, for what it's worth, maybe a little more than that. I mean, there's Wilmington, and then Raleigh is like up here, which is 120 miles, and maybe that's Durham, close to it, the Triangle area. And from here to Long Island is less than that, not much. We'll just call it 100 miles. That's pretty warm, getting on up there. And these anomalies, this is the actual temperature, but the anomalies in there are up there. See, let's go back to this map. right off the coast of the U.S. right there. Warmer than average by a pretty good amount overall, a couple of degrees Celsius. And also note what these actual temperatures are. Lines of equal temperature in meteorology are called isotherms. And here's your 29 degrees Celsius isotherm. That's about 83 or something like that Fahrenheit. Wow, 29 Celsius all around there. 29 and 30 Celsius in the Pamlico Sound along the Neuse River. 30 Celsius starting to show up here right offshore. That's starting to get my attention. And look at this, even out there's 30 Celsius, not far from Bermuda. So the Atlantic is definitely warming. If we compare those actual temperatures with the anomalies, again, this part of the western Atlantic here, quite a bit above the long-term average. And we need to keep this in mind because we are getting closer to the traditional start of the most active period of the hurricane season. All right, nothing out there to worry about now, which is great, but look at the increase in moisture out here. Slowly but surely, it's starting to change. Things are coming together, and it's going to happen. I think we're going to have an active season. How active and where they go, I can't tell you. Nobody can tell you that. But the westerlies, every year, they retreat more to the north. Your shear is dropping out through here. The Atlantic's warming. The Pacific's getting colder along the equatorial region. What else do I have to say? And you add to that this interesting tweet here from Eric Webb. The formation of a huge, as he says right there, huge convectively coupled Kelvin wave in the western Pacific. And what is a convectively coupled Kelvin wave? Well, let me get me back on here for a minute. I cannot go into I don't have a simple way to explain it meteorologically where you go, oh yeah, CCKW, man, those are awesome. I don't have a way to do that. But I will tell you this. Mark's analogies, once again. We need some theme music and everything to introduce. Dun 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 dun. It's now time for Mark's analogies. If the Madden-Julian oscillation is a broader version in the tropics of the equivalent of getting a good night's sleep, and so you feel more favorable the next day and maybe the next couple of days because you got a good night's sleep, versus a convectively coupled Kelvin wave, which is a smaller meteorological feature in the atmosphere, that's like a Red Bull. Okay? MJO, good night's sleep. CCKW, Red Bull. And in this case, from what I was reading, this particular convectively coupled Kelvin wave, 3 Red Bulls. I'm not kidding you. This one's meaning business, and as it propagates through the atmosphere, it could lead to tropical cyclone development in the Pacific over here, the eastern Pacific, and maybe something in the Atlantic the first few days of August. We will be able to track it as these products are readily available. I'll stop the animation here again when it gets to the 17th. There it is showing up, and again explaining what do the lines mean? What's all that mean? Well, I'll have to get Mr. Webb on to talk about that sometime, and I'm working on some stuff about that soon. All right? I know we talked with Michael Ventris about it last year, Dr. Ventris, the convectively coupled Kelvin wave and the MJO. And again, the beautiful thing about social media is you can get a lot of different sources from very smart people, and this year we'll get the perspective from Eric Webb. And I'm going to work on that soon. Well, I can't guarantee you I will. It's up to Eric, but I'll certainly ask him. But this is a big deal, okay? This, again, it's a huge one. And you'll see people talking about it. Also, I noticed as well that Eric was talking on Twitter about with Mr. Yakov Kantor, however you say it. One day I'm going to have him call me and, hey, how do you say your last name? I like this guy. I've been following him for years, and he's a follower of mine as well. He is in Jerusalem. You can do meteorology anywhere. You can do it from the North Pole if you want to. But what are they talking about? They're talking about this overall shift, that some of the modeling here indicating what they showed last year, they're showing again this year. And they were really good last year. And actually, what they showed last year, it ended up being more active than what they showed. My point is, people, we're getting closer. The signs are there. And like we see with chatter in military intelligence, you got to be ready. Okay? Sometimes that chatter is no good, and the same holds true in meteorology. Just because something might happen doesn't mean that it has to happen. All right? So, moving on. I just want to make sure I didn't have anything else to add. We got to be ready. We got to be ready. I'm the messenger. I'm trying to show you what I watch and what I look at, and I want to make you aware. All right, real quick. A couple people asked me to do this, and it's turned out to be a nice way to get stuff. Not for my house. It's for my work. Crowdfunding, and you can crowdfund whatever. And so we made this wish list. I will put this in the description, so don't worry about the link up there. Watching the video. Oh, what is that? It's a 302 I'll put it in the description. So this is a wish list of HurricaneTrack 2019 gear. These are cables to lock our stuff down. Keyed alike locks. What a great idea. We need these things. And this pressure sensor, the cases, the batteries, the chips, the Nest cams. So, we've got 12 that we need. We got one somebody ordered. 10 cards, 2 that somebody ordered. Thank you to all those somebodies. Hey, we're halfway there of the power packs. That's good. We need 6 total cases, and 2 more. Actually, someone said they can't really order the cases as a gift delivery. I don't know. But anyway, check this out, if you would please, in the description of today's video. And if you have the means to order everything or one of everything, great. If you don't, I get it. If I don't ask for this stuff, who's going to just... People can't read my mind. They don't know what we need. So there you go. And I appreciate everybody that has helped. We have several new patrons that came on board due to Barry and the attention that it brought. So if you want to become a sustaining member of our effort here, the crowdfunding world, and what an amazing world it is, we are on Patreon. So check that out as well. Twitch has their support group, YouTubers that are famous, gamers, etc. And the same holds true for anything creative. And in the weather world, myself, Levi, and others, the Weather Nerds site, and there are some storm chasers that are crowdfunded. It's a wonderful thing, and we all thank you very much. All right, so we covered a lot today. There's a lot happening, a lot coming up, and a lot we need to watch, even though the tropics are not very active at the moment. I'm seeing those signs, and I want to make sure you're thinking about it. I don't want you to panic and freak out. That's not a good thing. But I don't want you to bury your head in the sand either and say, it's never going to happen. Hope by itself, I hope it doesn't happen. Hope is not a planning tool. Remember that. Thanks for tuning in. I am Mark Sudduth. I appreciate you watching and listening from whatever device you may be doing so from. Again, I am Mark Sudduth, still Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. I'll have more for you tomorrow.